Hi students, welcome to Milky Way Lab Edible Plate Tectonics. For this lab, you're going to need a Milky Way bar and a paper towel, and make sure you wash your hands. Please take a second to review all the important facts for this lab. Talk about Earth's interior layer, lithosphere, asthenosphere, talk about the three different types of boundaries, or maybe demonstrate them with your hands. Talk about the three ways that plate tectonic moves, convection currents, ridge push, slab pull, and make sure you're very familiar with the geological features that are formed. You took plate tectonic maps a few days ago in my class. That would be a really good reference for a lot of the answers in this lab. So the first thing is you're going to keep in mind that you're going to be allowed to eat this candy bar, so please make sure you wash your hands if you haven't already. Also, if you have not read through all the instructions, please pause this video and go ahead and go through all the important facts and instructions. All right, so in Procedure 1, it tells you to use your fingernail to make a crack around the Milky Way bar. So before we begin, this Milky Way bar is going to be in whole. We're going to think of it as a super mega continent that has not broken up into plates yet. What would this be called? Hopefully you said Pangea. Now the caramel that's in the Milky Way bar is going to represent the mantle. All right, it's that semi-solid rock that's continuously moving, but very, very slowly due to the properties of plasticity. So take your finger and go around the middle of your Milky Way bar so that eventually when we crack the Milky Way bar, it should crack a little bit easier. Here we go. Number 2. Hold the candy bar top facing up. With your left thumb and forefinger, hold the sides of one end of your right thumb and forefinger holding the sides of the other end. Slowly stretch the candy bar apart. Do not break the bar into two pieces. So with that crack we made here, it's going to start to slowly break, there we go, this candy bar apart. So now that megacontinent is now broken up into two pieces. All right. The inside of the Milky Way bar is made up of nougat, that kind of like foamy stuff, caramel, and the outside's chocolate. Take a second to pause the video and answer number 1 and 2 on the back. You're going to need your textbook. Please refer to the page on Schoology with the textbook pages. Now that you've answered 1 and 2 using the textbook pages on Schoology, start on Procedure 3. Slowly push the stretched candy bar back together again until the chocolate plates collide with one another. Geological features such as mountain ranges may form when the pieces of chocolate plates collide and uplift. Alternately, one chocolate plate may slide beneath another, creating a subduction zone. You may wish to answer questions 3 or 4 at this point. Pages 405 and 405 in the book, which are on Schoology, have more detail. So we're going to start to push this Milky Way together. Notice how when we push the Milky Way together, the chocolate stays with the caramel. Because those convection currents underneath are continuously moving, the caramel is going to drag the plates along. Awesome. We have a really good subduction there. Zoom in there. This plate, which we could represent as the oceanic plate because it is more, hopefully you said dense, could represent that plate as this plate could represent the continental because it is less, hopefully you said dense. All right. Please take a second to finish number 3 and 4 on the next page and use your textbook pages that can be found in Schoology. After you've answered 3 and 4, take a look at your candy bar again. So what once was one giant candy bar is now going to be a few different pieces of chocolate. So this represents the breaking of the plate tectonics into different continental plates here. Now we're going to go on to step 4. Without breaking the bar into two pieces, continually slowly pull the candy bar apart and push back together again several times. Repeat this action until you have a good sense of how plates can move about by the motion of the fluid underneath. When the plates are pulled apart, materials from beneath can move to the surface. When plates are pushed together, they can collide, or one can slide beneath one another. Page 404 and 405 in the book and on Schoology has more detail. So notice how, as we pull apart the candy bar, those chocolate pieces are going to move. that caramel is causing those plates to move, just like our continental plates moved into their places now from being a megacontinent called Pangaea. So take a look at that movement. All right, once you have finished, you can pull the... So now that your Milky Way bar should be a little kind of messed up at the time right now, we're going to see all these different plates that have broken off from the one Milky Way bar that existed. These represent what? The plate tectonics. The caramel that was underneath that was constantly moving due to convection currents was making these plates move into place there. Now we're ready for the final step. 5. Once you've finished, pull the candy completely apart. Look at its exposed interior and think of the candy bar as a model of the Earth. The top layer of chocolate represents Earth's brittle lithosphere, broken into plates. The caramel and nougat represent the asthenosphere, where the material is solid yet still is able to flow. So solid, but can flow due to its property of plasticity. All right, once you've made your observations, you can, of course, enjoy your Milky Way bar. Please make sure you clean up your mess wherever you are. After you're done, you're going to answer the questions in the lab that you have not already answered. You need to use complete sentences to get full credit. The only times you do not need to use complete sentences is the boundary terms, right? That's going to be number 4, number 6, and number 9. Everything else you need to use complete sentences on. The pages in the textbook are going to be found in Schoology on this day, so make sure you use them. Also, if you'd like an example of what I am expecting for complete sentences, please also look at today's post on Schoology and find the example. If you guys are stuck on any of the questions that ask you to list the geological features you might expect to see, turn to your plate tectonic notes that we took earlier in the week. That should be in your journal.
Milky Way bar. See you next time.